benediction as they're opening up the temple by saying, look, we've got to be all in to this thing. We can't just go halfway on this. And sometimes it feels like, as I mentioned at the beginning of my talk, that sometimes we just pay lip service because we want to be devoted to God. God is I believe in God and He's the center of my life. Well, really? Well, what does that mean? How does that make us respond as people? People have been trying to get rid of faith and belief in God, and that's influenced our country for a long time. Other places as well. French philosopher Voltaire claimed that the Bible and Christianity would die out within 100 years of his death. He died in 1778. And now, I don't know if you know this about Voltaire, but there actually is a group that prints Bibles that took over the house where he used to live. And so I thought that was a neat twist of irony there. When we deal with people are trying to strip this away even today. This is a picture from a town called Port Wentworth, Georgia. Anybody know where Port Wentworth is? Anybody? We have one person who knows where Port Wentworth is. Well, this is a senior citizen residence facility, and they were told because their food was subsidized by the federal government, they could no longer offer prayers out loud for their meals before they ate them. And so we were able to intervene in that case and get that turned around. Another case, you may have heard of a couple of school officials out in the panhandle of Florida who were threatened with 6 months in prison, $5,000 in fines, and losing their combined 70 years of state retirement. What was their crime? They offered a 15-second blessing over a meal. That's what's going on in our country. That's the tolerance that is happening in our country. So we were able to reverse that decision. They weren't charged with those criminal charges. They were set free of those. And this just came out January 23rd, 2012. People trying to dictate what's acceptable and what's not as far as free speech goes in the classroom at schools. And boy was given the task to write on his view on homosexual adoption. And so he wrote his view. And it wasn't the view that was appreciated. So he was all of a sudden accused of being a bully. And so we've come to his aid as well. But these are the types of things that are going on. And we're getting away from this. The Texas Board of Education, they decided on textbooks not too long ago, and they made a good decision. But let me tell you what an indication that was given at the hearing. Cynthia Dunbar, Texas Board of Education, said, "I believe no one can read the history of our country without realizing that the good book and the Spirit of the Savior have from the beginning been our guiding geniuses. Whether we look at the first Charter of Virginia, or the Charter of New England, or the Charter of Massachusetts Bay, or the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut, the same objective is present: a Christian land governed by Christian principles. I believe the entire Bill of Rights came into being because of the knowledge of our forefathers out of the Bible and their belief in it. Freedom of belief, of expression, of assembly, of petition, the dignity of the individual, the sanctity of the home, equal justice under law, and the reservation of powers of the people. I like to believe that we are living today in the spirit of the Christian religion. I like also to believe that as long as we do so, no great harm can come to our country." Quite an invocation, isn't it? Of course, the Texas Freedom Network jumped all over what she had said in that invocation. That she offered the board's opening prayer this morning and removed any doubt about what she and other far-right board members want students to learn. America's laws and government should be based on the Christian Bible. Well, I would propose that they should be, but what Cynthia was doing merely in the invocation was quoting Chief Justice Earl Warren, who was touted as one of the most liberal justices ever on the Supreme Court. So naturally they retracted their statement not long after that. But what I'm saying is, if the most liberal of justices can recognize the value of faith and belief in God and religion in our society, how far have we come? You can't even speak your belief in public without fearing persecution for that. Andrew Jackson said it best: the Bible is the rock upon which our republic rests. So I wonder, when that rock is moved, how long do we have? How long do we have? The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, yet it did not fall because it has its foundation on the rock. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house in the sand. Rain came down, streams rose, the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. We need to demand the permanence of faith and the things of God in our society. And I got a little something for you tonight. It's a congressional scorecard where Liberty Counsel has, in certain key issues of life and liberty and family, scored how congressional members have voted in those issues. And it's back there. I've got lots of materials back there for you to take, learn more about Liberty Counsel, about the work that we do. I've also got a basket. If you take some materials, those aren't free, but you don't have to give a donation, but there's also cards back there as well that you could fill out and give a donation. If you'd like to do that, whether or not you give us any donation to help with our work tonight, we'll send you one of these Patriot handbooks. It has a Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, Patrick Henry's famous speech, and our founder and chairman, Matt Staver, has written an essay. Just a real handy handbook that you can have. Fill out the registration envelope, sign up for a newsletter. We'll send you a free Patriots handbook. We also do, as I said, all of our work for free. If you feel led to help us do that tonight, we certainly would appreciate that. But there are some good things going on as well. I don't know if you know about this, but Marco Rubio introduced a bill protecting religious organizations from Obamacare not too long ago. And so you might keep that in your prayers. And also, I learned about this. I was at a Vero Beach prayer breakfast. They've had that for the last 7 or 8 years, just this week. And they got up and they gave this update about this petition drive that's going on. So they want to do what's being done in some other places across the nation in Vero Beach. I thought that maybe some of you might be interested in looking at this website, BibleInSchools.net. And if you'd like to see the Bible in a local school, go on this website and look at what they're doing. They've got so many great things going on. They're actually putting a Bible curriculum in schools all across the nation. And I had some stats just to tell you about their success that I brought with me. I thought I'd read this to you because so many times we dwell on all the bad things that are going on. Sometimes we don't reflect on the good things that are happening. But this says the Bible course curriculum has already been implemented in 2,180 high schools, and over 550,000 students have taken this course in the public schools since it began 15 years ago. So this is, I'd not heard much about this. I'd heard of some states making efforts on this, but this is an actual group that is organizing and helping put together Bible curriculums for public schools. So if you're interested in that, take a look at that and see how you might get involved in preserving the faith of our nation, because by and large we've declared independence, our responsibility to preserve the nation for future generations through our knowledge of God's words and our commitment to doing them. We've got to declare dependence on God's power to return our nation to its forgotten heritage. We've got to understand it starts with me. It starts with each one of us tonight. So we've got to defend the past, dive into it personally, do it in public, demonstrate its priority, demand its permanence. This might be a little different tonight than some of the Tea Party meetings that you've had, but I just really wanted to impress upon you, if we believe in God and He's the center of our lives, something ought to happen because of that. And I would just propose that in addition to electing a good candidate in the months to come, we ought to put God back on the throne as well and let Him rule in our country and rule in our lives. So thanks for your time tonight. I appreciate it.